Welcome to SSR Pharma Media, your trusted source for pharma knowledge. Pharmaceutical Inorganic Chemistry MCQ series, your exam power boost. Today we are going to discuss about electrolytes. Prepare, practice, succeed. So under the electrolytes, so what is electrolyte? Electrolytes are the substance that dissociate into ions in body fluids and are essential for osmotic balance, nerve conduction, muscle contractions and acid base balance. So in that topic mainly we are going to cover about major extra and intracellular electrolytes, functions of major physiological ions, physiological acid base balance. So these three topics we are going to cover this videos. And these electrolytes used in replacement therapies, these are all the examples of compound like sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium gluconate. So these three compounds are used for electrolyte replacement therapy. And finally, oral rehydration salt. So today we are going to cover all these topics. So which statement correctly describes electrolytes in biological system? So option B, they dissociate into ions and helps regulate osmotic and acid base balance. Which of the following body function is most directly affected by an imbalance of electrolytes? So option B, muscle contraction and relaxation. So this only mostly affected due to electrolyte imbalances. So next, major extracellular electrolytes. So major electrolytes are sodium, chlorides, bicarbonates, calcium. So these are all the electrolytes we require major quantity in our body cells, for our body cells. So this is a normal range of each electrolytes. You read it. So here major functions of the each electrolyte. Sodium is a mainly major extracellular cation, maintain osmotic pressures and extracellular fluid volumes, and regulate acid base balance, and essential for nerve impulses and transmissions. It is involved in muscle contractions also. And next, chloride ions. So chloride ions are major extracellular anions. So minus means it's a anions. So maintains electroneutrality and it helps regulate osmotic pressure. It is a component of gastric HCl and it is mainly involving the acid base balance. And bicarbonate. So bicarbonate is act as a primarily buffer system to blood in order to balance acid base and maintain the blood pH. And our blood pH is nearly slightly alkaline in nature, 7.4, and facilitate carbon dioxide transport. And calcium ion is mainly required for bone and teeth formation, and it's involving the blood coagulation, muscle contractions and nerve impulses and transmissions, and it's mainly involving enzyme activations. So which electrolyte is the major extracellular cation responsible for maintaining osmotic pressure and extracellular fluid volume? So option C, sodium is the major extracellular cation. The electrolytes that act as the primarily buffer system of blood helps maintaining blood pH is, so option C, bicarbonate ions. So bicarbonate ions primarily act as a buffer system to the blood. Which extracellular electrolyte is essential for blood coagulation, muscle contraction and nerve impulse transmission? So option D, calcium ion. Next, some major extracellular electrolytes. So major extracellular electrolytes, already we have sodium, potassium also we require major quantity, sodium, calcium, bicarbonate. So this also is required major quantity. Major intracellular electrolyte, these are all potassium, magnesium, phosphate, sodium, calcium, bicarbonate, chlorides are extracellular electrolyte. Major extracellular electrolyte required more quantity for the human body cells. So same like that, major intracellular electrolytes are potassium, magnesium, phosphate. So these are all required more quantity for the body cells, human body cells. So these are all the normal ranges. And major functions of the potassium. So it is a type of major intracellular cation, maintaining resting membrane potential, regulate cardiac rhythm, essential for nerve conductions and muscle contractions. And magnesium is a very important cofactor for ATP dependent enzymes, and it stabilizes the RNA DNA, and it's involved in the neuromuscular transmission, and it regulates calcium potassium transport. And phosphate, so phosphate is very important for energy storage like ATP, ADP, and it is involved in the buffer system also, and it is required for the formation of bone and teeth mineralization. The component of it acts as a component of nucleic acid synthesis. So the intracellular electrolytes that act as the cofactor for ATP dependent enzymes and stabilizes DNA RNA is, so option D, magnesium is the answer. Which electrolyte is the major intracellular cation responsible for maintaining resting membrane potential and regulating cardiac rhythm? So option C, potassium. So potassium is the major intracellular cation. So which of the following sets of ions is predominantly found in the intracellular fluid, ICM? So option C, potassium, magnesium, phosphate. And remaining, so these are all extracellular fluids. Match the electrolytes in column 1 with their correct major functions in column 2 and choose the correct option. So the answer is option A. So option A. So sodium is the maintaining the volume of extracellular volume and osmotic balance Next is the nerve impulses and nerve impulse transmissions. So potassium is the cardiac rhythm, maintaining cardiac rhythm, muscle contractions and nerve conductions. And calcium is the bone and teeth formation and blood clotting, muscle contractions. And chloride is the acid base balance and gastric HCl formation. And bicarbonate is the primarily blood buffer and pH regulations. So next is we'll see about the electrolyte balance, imbalance and causes and symptoms. So when electrolyte imbalances takes place in our body, so what are all the problem we'll get it? The disease, name of the disease, hyponatremia and hypernatremia. When sodium level is decreased, so it is hyponatremia. When sodium level is increased, it's called hypernatremia. Sodium means it's a natremia. So due to the hyponatremia, it causes diuretic. It caused whenever our body fluid of sodium get decreased, the reason for decreasing is diuretics. Urine output is increased, sodium content of the blood get decreased, and excessive IV fluids and vomiting and diarrhea. Due to high vomiting and diarrhea, decreases the sodium level. So due to that, we'll get headache, nausea, confusions and seizures and coma. Hypernatremia. When we will get hypernatremia? When dehydration. Dehydration means all water molecules get evaporated from our body. Only the salt content of sodium get more in our body. In that condition, sodium level may increased. And excess intake of salt, like sodium plus sodium ion intake, salt, sodium chloride salt, we are taking the fast food and adding more salt in the chat items. So in that way, sodium level is increasing. So it is called hypernatremia. and diabetic insipidus. So diabetic insipidus, people used to go urine frequently. So whenever they are going urine, so electrolyte concentrations, that means sodium concentration may increase. So and remaining uh, other minerals may go out along with the urine. So in that case, hypernatremia may occur. So due to hypernatremia, thirst, dry mucosa, and restlessness and neuromuscular excitability may is the symptoms of this hypernatremia. Whenever potassium, so potassium means it's a kalemia. When potassium level is decreased, it is called hyponatremia. When potassium level is increasing, it is called hypernatremia. So potassium level is decreasing due to loop and thiazide diuretics intake, means decreasing the potassium level, and same vomiting and diarrhea and insulin overdose. So these are all the conditions potassium level get decreased, hypokalemia. So due to decreasing potassium level, we'll get muscle weakness, fatigue, arrhythmias and paralysis. And hypernatremia means increasing potassium level occur during renal failure, and potassium supplement, more amount of potassium supplement when we take ACE, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. So in these conditions, potassium levels get increased, hypernatremia may occur. Due to hypernatremia, the symptoms are cardiac arrhythmias, muscle weakness and paresthesia. So low sodium, brain power get decreased, and low potassium, it leads cardiac killer. Electrolyte imbalance and causes symptoms of calcium. So calcium, hypocalcemia, hypercalcemia. So hypo means due to hypothyroidism we get decreased level of calcium, vitamin D deficiency and renal failure will get decreased amount of calcium in the human body. So that leads, hyponatremia means it leads tetany and muscle cramps. Hypernatremia, so due to hyperparathyroidism and bone malignancy and excess vitamin D intake. So due to this reason, increases the calcium level, that's called hypercalcemia. When hypercalcemia symptoms are kidney stones, bone pain, constipation and weakness. So low calcium, it's very important. Low calcium leads tetany, high calcium leads stone and bones. A patient on diuretic therapy present with headache, nausea, confusions and seizures. The most likely electrolyte imbalance is, so option B, hyponatremia. So hyponatremia symptoms are, these are headache, seizures, confusions. The excess sodium intake and diabetic insipidus are common causes of, option B, hypernatremia. Muscle weakness, fatigue, paralysis and cardiac rhythms are typically features of, option C, hypokalemia. Renal failure, excessive potassium supplementation may lead to which condition? So option B, hyperkalemia. Tetany and muscle cramps are most commonly associated with, option B, hypokalemia. Kidney stones, bone pain, constipation and weakness indicates, option C, hypercalcemia. So next is the physiological acid-base balance. So physiological acid-base balance we'll discuss. So our blood pH is nearly 7.35 to 7.45, slightly alkaline. So this pH is maintained by physiological acid-base balance. So in this maintenance of pH occurs the three-way system. First system is buffer system of the body maintaining the pH of blood. So in the buffer system, three type of buffer systems are there present in buffer system, intermediate and lungs and kidney. The physiological acid-base balance maintaining the blood pH. So in order to maintain the blood pH, mainly in our body, there are three type of mechanisms are involving. The first mechanism is buffer system. Second mechanisms lungs are involving in order to balance the acid and base, and kidney also involving to balance the acid and base. So there are three important mechanisms involving physiologically to maintain or balance acids and base. So and in that first is the buffer system of the body. So buffer system is a examples of buffer system: bicarbonate, phosphate buffer, protein buffer, hemoglobin buffer. So these are all the examples of buffer system. So here site bicarbonate act on the blood and extracellular fluid. Phosphate is intracellular fluid and renal tubule. Protein is a plasma protein, and hemoglobin buffer is the RBC cells. So primary functions of this primary buffer system is a phosphate is a minor but important pH. This bind H plus ion and major intracellular buffer. So main thing is you must know about what is acid and what is base. So acid means the compound which donate the H plus ion. So it is called acid. And base means, so the whenever in this point of view, physiological acid base balance, whenever the acidic body become more alkaline, it is called base alkaline. So in that case less hydrogen ions may be present in the blood. So in that case, so these three mechanisms donate the hydrogen ion to the blood. So in order to maintain this pH, so it is a maintain the pH. Whenever body is alkaline, it is indicate the less number of hydrogen ion. So these three mechanisms, through these three mechanisms, it will donate a hydrogen ion. It's called acid. So that acids maintaining this blood pH. Whenever body become acidic, that means more number of hydrogen ion is there. That condition is called acidic conditions. So in that conditions, we does not require more amount of hydrogen ion. We need less amount. We have to decreases. So in such situation also, these three mechanisms will involve, and it is bind this hydrogen ion, so that the hydrogen ion level is decreasing in blood, thereby it's maintaining this blood pH, physiological acid base balance. If you see the physiological acid base balance, so there are three systems: buffer system, lungs and kidney. First, role of lungs in acid base balance. First, when acidosis means more number of hydrogen ion, alkalosis means less number of hydrogen ions. So when hydrogen ions are more, so in that case respiration carbon dioxide volume is decreased. Carbon dioxide volume is decreased. When less number of hydrogen ion, decreasing respiration and increasing carbon dioxide. So that means whenever we have low breathing and fast breathing. So low breathing, you imagine first is the fast breathing. Fast breathing means whenever we are going for jogging or walking, we used to exhale more. So exhale more. So in that conditions, all carbon dioxide get released or moved from our lungs. So in that case, so all carbon dioxide is get decreased from our lungs. So in that case, so increasing the alkalinity of the lungs. So that means, so basic concept is, so water combined with the carbon dioxide to form carbonic acid. To form carbonic acid. So H2CO3. So later this carbonic acid dissociate hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. So this is the reactions happens in the lungs. So whenever we have we are moving, walking or jogging, that case exhalations will be more, so that the carbon dioxide accumulations will be less. That means increased respiration, less in carbon dioxide. So in that carbon dioxide less means, so there is no formation of carbonic acid, so there is no formation of hydrogen ion. So hydrogen ion decreased means it leads alkalosis. So it leads alkalosis. So at the same time, when we have wheezing problem, when imagine wheezing problem, and that time only inhalations will be more. There is no exhalation. That's why we will get short of breath. So inhalation means only carbon dioxide will go into the lungs more. So that time accumulation of carbon dioxide is more in the lungs. So when accumulation is more, it reacts with the water and it form more carbonic acid and it form more hydrogen ion. So lungs become acidic. So low breathing and high breathing. Low, both breathing, rate of breathing, based on the rate of breathing, it affects the blood pH. So the medium breathing is good for the health. So in that way, the lungs is involving in the maintaining the acid-base balance. So next is the role of kidney in acid-base balance. So role of kidney, kidney secreting hydrogen ion and reabsorption of sodium bicarbonate and ammonia formation and phosphate buffer is involving. So hydrogen ion is removed excess acid and bicarbonate maintains the buffer, and ammonia is excrete the acids, that means it excrete the hydrogen ion, so that it excrete the acid, and phosphate buffer acid excretions. So which buffer system is particularly important in the renal tubules and contributes to intracellular buffering? So option A, bicarbonate buffer. Plasma protein help maintain acid-base balance primarily by, so option C, binding hydrogen ions. In metabolic acidosis, the compensatory response of the lungs is to, option B, increases respiration causing carbon dioxide elimination. Decreasing in hydrogen ion concentration produces which respiratory response? So the answer is option B, decreased respiration with retention of carbon dioxide. So you understand this, decreased respiration. Decreased respiration means whenever we have the wheezing trouble, so in that case only exhalations, the exhalations of the carbon dioxide will enter inside. There will not be any inhalations of carbon dioxide is more than exhalation. So that, so decreased respiration, it is called decreased respiration with that retention of carbon dioxide. So in this case it increasing the alkalosis. The reabsorption of bicarbonate by kidney primarily helps to, so option B, maintain the buffer capacity of blood. Phosphate buffering in the kidney contributes to acid-base balance mainly by, so option C, facilitating acid secretions in urine. So next is the physiological acid-base balance disorders. So respiratory acidosis means it's decreasing the pH due to increasing the carbon dioxide retention, so that the lungs become acidic in nature because of increasing carbon dioxide level in the lungs, so that the carbon dioxide react with water to form carbonic acid. So that carbonic acid, it's liberate the hydrogen ion. So this hydrogen ion is responsible for the acidity. And respiratory alkalosis. So respiratory alkalosis, decreasing alkalosis is increasing due to decreased carbon dioxide. So decreased carbon dioxide means there is no reactions with water and formation of carbonic acid, and there is no dissociation of hydrogen ion. So that it increasing the alkalosis. Metabolic acidosis decreases the bicarbonate. Metabolic alkalosis means it increases pH because it's increasing carbonic acid, bicarbonate ions. So primary disorders, respiratory, its compensation mechanism, kidney, metabolic and lungs. Causes of acid-base disorders. So when respiratory alkalosis means it causes the COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, asthma and hypoventilation. Alkalosis means anxiety, hyperventilation. Metabolic acidosis. So this respiration means only it is depends upon lungs. Metabolic means it is the full of the body fluids. Metabolic acidosis leads diarrhea, renal failure, and metabolic alkalosis means it produce vomiting and excess antacids. So main buffer of blood is bicarbonate. pH below 7.3 leads acidosis. pH above 7.45 alkalosis. CO2 controlled by lungs. Bicarbonate controlled by kidney. A patient with COPD is most likely to develop which acid-base disorders? So option C, respiratory acidosis. Hyperventilation due to anxiety most commonly results in, so option B, respiratory alkalosis. Which of the following is a common causes of metabolic acidosis? So option C, diarrhea. In metabolic acid-base disorders, the primary compensatory mechanism occurs via, so option C, lungs. So next is the oral rehydration salt, ORS. So oral rehydration salt is a glucose electrolyte formulation used to prevent and treat dehydration caused by diarrhea and vomiting. The key principle, sodium glucose to co-transport remains intact in diarrhea. So mechanism of action, glucose facilitates sodium absorption via SGLT1 transporter. Water follows osmotically. Correct dehydrations, electrolyte imbalance and acidosis. So ORS compositions are mainly it's containing sodium chloride, potassium chloride. So these are all the amount present in each packet, and trisodium citrate, glucose. So glucose is 13.3 gram anhydrous in nature. So why previous formulations it contains, instead of sodium citrate, it contains sodium bicarbonate. So sodium later it was replaced. So why sodium bicarbonate was replaced by citrate in ORS? Bicarbonate was originally included in ORS to correct metabolic acidosis in diarrhea, but it was later replaced by trisodium citrate due to several advantages. Bicarbonate in ORS was replaced by citrate because citrate is more stable, has a longer shelf life, better storage properties, and is metabolized to bicarbonate to correct acidosis. The therapeutic efficacy of oral rehydration salt in diarrhea is mainly due to, option B, sodium glucose co-transport remaining intact. Which of the following components are present in WH stand low osmolality ORS? So option A, sodium chloride, potassium chloride, sodium tricitrate and dihydrate glucose. In ORS, oral rehydration salt, sodium bicarbonate was replaced by trisodium citrate mainly because trisodium citrate, option C, is more stable, has longer shelf life and is metabolized to bicarbonate. Electrolytes used in replacement therapy, next topic. So replacement means whenever our body has less amount of sodium, potassium, calcium in that case. So electrolytes are used for replacement. So there are examples of replacement therapy electrolytes are sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium gluconate. So it is these are all the synonym of the each compound and molecular formula. Read it. So replacement means you must understand whenever the sodium, potassium, calcium level is decreased in body fluid, we have to replace it immediately with the help of these electrolyte compounds. And electrolyte used in replacement therapy. So these are all the compound and mechanism of this each compound and assay of the each compounds and test for purity and uses of these each compounds. To take screenshot and read it. So uses mainly it is used in the electrolyte replacement therapy. So sodium means hyponatremia. It's used in the hyponatremia and dehydration. Potassium means hypokalemia and also electrolyte replacement, and it is used to prevent the atmiasis. And calcium is hypocalcemia and used for the treatment of tetany and cardiac resuscitation and antidotes in hyperkalemia also. The synonym of for potassium chloride is, so option A, muriate of potash. The assay of sodium chloride is commonly performed using, so option B, agentometric titration, the Morse method using AgNO3. The assay of calcium gluconate is typically performed using, so option B, complexometric titration with EDTA. Potassium chloride is primarily used for, so option B, treatment of hypokalemia and prevention of atmiasis. Naturally occurring potassium chloride is commonly found as a mixture of, so option B, potassium and magnesium chloride. Calcium lactate is chemically described as, so option B, hydrated calcium salts of 2-hydroxypropionic acid. The concentration of normal saline used for intravenous infusion is, so option B, 0.9% weight in volume sodium chloride. The mineral sulfite and carnallite are naturally occurring source of. So answer in your comment box. So thank you. So join in your WhatsApp community. You'll get hands-out material. Like, subscribe and share.